Hey, Jimmy. Yes, Train from 308 Ghost Train. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great.
308 Ghost Train.
Uh-huh.
How did you come up with that name?
Oh, well, the name comes from John 308. Well, the 308 comes from John 308. The wind blows where it pleases. No one knows where it comes and goes, but it's in everyone born of the Spirit. And I have a belief that, I write a lot of songs in my sleep, and I dream them. And they come to me in dreams, and most of them, parts of them, and then I help God to finish me. So I believe that the Ghost, I call him the Ghost, is my musical director. And of course, everybody calls me Train, so henceforth you got the 308 Ghost Train.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's very inventive there. I was thinking maybe at first when I saw the 308, I was thinking, well, maybe that's an area code. And then
it is. It's in Nebraska.
Yeah, because I looked it up, and then I'm like, when I looked at your bio, I'm like, well, that can't be the right answer because.
Let me tell you a creepier thing about that.
Okay.
So last year I hired this new photographer, and in the beginning we start working together, and then they start shooting lots of working together pretty much every day and doing videos and photo shoots, and they're doing a shooting documentary on me and this and that and the other thing. And then before you know it, I guess we were both found out we were in pretty bad relationships, and we were coming out of them, and I guess we just got along and hit it off, and before you knew it, we were an item. And now we're like, she's the love of my life, and she takes me home, and I go home, and I'm through her home, and I'm with somebody, and they said, "Oh, so you're from here?" And I said, "No, I'm not from here." He said, "Oh, well, you're the 308 Ghost Train." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, this is the 308 area code."
Nice.
So she's from the 308 area code.
That's creepy, man, but that's cool.
Man, that's too friggin' much, ain't it, man? That's a lot, man. So that's why I say the Ghost always takes me where I need to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, hey, listen, I don't question it. I just roll with it.
Oh,
things have been so freaking cool during this pandemic. I mean, the last 60 days we've garnered 22 million plays.
I saw that.
Yeah. So, I mean, like a pandemic where the rest of the world is struggling or whatever, or falling apart. I guess, God's carrying us in his hands, and it doesn't matter because destiny is destiny. It don't matter whether there's a pandemic or whether there's the world's falling apart. I guess you're going to go where you're going to go no matter what. I guess that's proof positive of it. So when people ask me, I can't say that COVID has affected me in a negative way.
No,
I mean,
I guess not.
No, we were in here having rehearsal. I have a little club that my own space. It's just like a man cave. And this is where we all rehearse, and I've got it all set up like it's got a bar in it and games and tables, and all my buddies come hang out here. And we were sitting in here rehearsing last night to get ready to record, and we're looking at each other, and we're like, really? Like who can comprehend 22 million? Who in like a time when people are saying they can't even get a gig on a Friday night?
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, like we couldn't even comprehend it. And so I turned to him and I said, "Look, let's not even try to think about it because I don't think we'll ever understand.
Right.
No matter what, we're probably better off just keeping on doing what we're doing."
Can you tell us about the guys in the band, the players, who they are, and
my Dave Taylor is the bass player. Anthony Cucarillo is the lead guitarist. I'm the lead singer. I play utility. I do some piano on some songs and acoustic guitar. And Nate Kintner is our drummer.
Nice.
So we make up the 308 Ghost Train.
What are your influences?
Well, I'll tell you. I just told another guy in Canada. I said, I know that when they write about us, they always say the same people. They usually say Bon Jovi and Creedence. And I've heard Springsteen and Mellencamp. I've heard Stained and Matchbox 20. And I've heard, but really to tell you the truth, I've heard the Beatles. But they're all right, and probably 200 more, Jimmy, because my musical library is like spans decades. I mean, I've just listened. I study music. I don't just listen to it like Lennon and McCartney. I would take those songs and rip them apart in the chord structures to find out, why did they go to a C sharp minor off of this in this key when it's not supposed to be done like that, and just figure out what they did. So I didn't just listen to music. I kind of like broke it apart and studied it because I was so passionate about it, man. I really was. I was passionate about music. It's not what I do, it's who I am. I love writing songs.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I got something to say, and I'm not just saying something. And maybe that's a lot of our success lately, is that if you'll listen to any of our songs that are out there right now, they all have a message that touches some group of people.
Right.
And it's not any one group of people. And I think that may be the other thing, is that the vast familiar sounds of all the influences combined with the messages, for some reason, the Ghost has got these in different places. Like if you listen to Warren, that touches one group of people. You listen to 21 Guns, A Million Tears, that touches a whole completely different group of people. You listen to I'll Break Your Heart, that grabs it, and so on and so on. And it's like, wow. And then they all come together under one roof called the 308 Ghost Ring. And before you know it, you got 22 million of them.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. And your latest EP, Train of Thought, that dropped pretty much around 2 weeks before they closed everything down, right?
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, we've went back, and the only single that's really been released off of that EP is Bleed Over Me. And we were going to try Hey Lonely, which I wrote in Nashville, and we made a video of it, but we didn't release the record officially because we felt like it kind of didn't fit what was going on, so we kind of scratched that song. And we when Universal said, hey, we want to distribute this, and they wanted to take a shot, and I said, okay. And they said, well, let's see what it does. And of course, it's done 5.8 million, but like 5.9 million plays throughout all the platforms. So I'd say that's pretty strong. But we decided that we opened up the door for that to be the lead single off the EP. And now we've written three other songs that we're going to record next month, and we're going to start just to release singles, and that'll be the Train of Thought EP. And then once all the singles are done, see, I believe we call them EPs, but I believe in singles, Jimmy, because I think people should have a choice. They shouldn't have to buy 5 songs if they only like 3.
Right.
So my model is, I told Universal, and I've told, everybody I ever work with, I said, listen, man, give people the choice. They only want to buy one song, let them buy one song. So release them all as singles. The other reason for that is, I believe if you drop a single every 13 weeks, every 7 or 8 to 13 weeks, you keep people engaged more. You drop a whole album at one time or a whole EP at one time, and they try to digest it immediately. First of all, they can't. And second of all, they're saying, okay, in a month, they're like, well, we need a new album, because everybody's kind of about instant gratification now. The internet has created an instant gratification that's, kind of dominating with people. So I think that if you keep your fan base engaged and you keep new appreciators of music engaged, I think that you'll build your fan base quicker.
I agree with you on that one. Bleed Over Me, that is a kick-ass song. I love that song. Me and my wife were listening to it the other day. Kind of reminds me of a Jay Giles feel. Can you talk about that song a little bit?
Yeah, I that's the first time anyone's ever used him. Of course, I listen to him too. Angels in a Centerfold. I mean, he was definitely one of the people one of those 200 that somehow the music resonated with. Bleed Over Me is an interesting song. It's probably the only song that I wrote fully awake. And people ask me all the time, well, what's Bleed Over Me? And I said, well, I wrote it all because a guy fell for a girl. That guy was me, and it goes back to the story of Amanda, the photographer. And so, as we were getting to know each other, when we were just working together, I don't know, something started to happen, Jimmy. I mean, things happen, and and she had to have a surgery, and because she had something to be removed in her nasal cavity to help her breathe better. And I don't know, I was on set with the video team, and she wasn't there, and that day she was having surgery, and I couldn't keep my lines. I started realizing something was wrong with me. Like something my attention was like all I could think about was her. And I don't know. And then a couple of days later, she called me. I've been stewing for like 2 days. So, when the phone rang and I answered that real quick, I said, hi. And she said, hi. And I said, listen, don't say nothing. I just want to tell you this. I said, listen, I miss you and I really want to kiss you.
Wow.
She said, okay, but I'm afraid I'll bleed on you. Cause she had the cotton up her nose. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So from the surgery. So I said, oh, Amanda, you just gave me my next song. I said, I got to go. I'll call you back. And I wasn't even thinking about how I wanted to talk to her and all. I hung up the phone real quick and went to the piano and started writing it because I thought it was the greatest way to say I love. Bleed Over Me. Probably the most unique way of saying. that I want all of you. I want all of you. And I wrote the song. It took about, I don't know. I started writing. I called Nate, my drummer. He does a lot of piano and string arrangements with me. So, I said, Nate, I got something. We got it right. He said, well, I can't get there till Tuesday. It was like Saturday. I said, no, dude, we got to do it now. So he said, well, just start it and I'll get over there. And then, so I don't know, about 15, 20 minutes, like I had a sketch of the song. And then all of a sudden I said, all right, I got to take my time on these lyrics, really, this story, I have to give this supreme justice because I feel like this was like a gift from God. When she said, I'm afraid I'll bleed on you. And what the thought that came into my head was, oh my God, bleed over me. And I said, oh, you just gave me my next song. I knew it was divine, but it was the first time I really engaged in the divine while fully awake. Generally, the songs would come partially in the sleep, and then I'd help God to help me finish them. So I was like, oh, wow, man, there's a whole new thing opening up here, in the songwriting thing. So I got so excited, I hung up on her. I asked, and I went and wrote the song, and then I started texting her the lyrics. That's how Bleed Over Me came about. And it's, it's the first time, that I actually was writing to love instead of searching for love. So, I finally found love, and that's a whole different perspective, man. When you're writing, there, like all my life, I've been searching for this one person who would touch me in such a way and love me honestly and purely and, without any, bad things. And I mean, all my relationships, it seemed up to that time, were horrible, man. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me.
Wow.
But I finally had one. And I guess what it is you have to remember the laws of relativity, man. You never know what something is, good or bad, unless you have something to measure it against.
Right.
So when you finally do find something and you say, oh my God, what have I been doing all my life? Thinking one thing is something when it really wasn't. And I guess that sense of love and that pure sense of love opened up a whole new world in songwriting for me. And now I've been writing, from a different perspective, brother. Now, it's really, really cool.
You said that a lot of songs that you came up with, you were asleep?
Yeah, man. I get a lot of the melodies in dreams.
So do you wake up and jot it down, or you just remember it the next day?
I wake up and either I got my phone by my bed or I run right to my little studio and I start writing. I don't take it for granted one bit, and I do not go back to sleep because you will not remember them. I've learned that in the past.
Wow.
So I have disciplined myself to get up and start writing. I don't care if it's 3 a.m.
That's pretty cool, though, that you're able to put a song together in your mind while you're sleeping, and then just wake up out of a sleep and then just start jotting down your thoughts. That's pretty damn cool, man.
Well, it's like, what I call it, like a telephone line to God. While you're sleeping, there's some kind of cellular communication, and somebody's whispering in my ear, maybe starting a melody off. Or listen, now I probably go to sleep like with the song Worn. I don't know if you've listened to Worn, but that's one of the ones I like. That's the ones I like to explain the most because this is really interesting. Worn was written during that time, but it was a really dark period. Like I told you, I was in a really bad relationship, and it was really bad for me. And, I was contemplating, not even, just giving up and just giving up life and everything. And I had this on my mind, this heavy heart, and I went to bed. And in my sleep at about 5:30 in the morning, that chorus started singing in my head. I may be worn, but I'm holding on. And my cover's tattered and torn. And I woke up and I said, oh my God. And I went right to the guitar and I started playing that and I started figuring it out. And all of a sudden I wrote that song in about 15 minutes.
That's cool, man.
Off of that dream, that whole song. And I said, I got to go. And I ran it and I flew to Nashville in 3 days or the next week and went and recorded it because that's where I record at, is Nashville. So, and with my buddy Chip Martin, he's been my engineer for a few years and co-producer. So, it's easy for me to work with him, to go down there, and everything's always done really well. And so I trust him, and he's just top of the line musician, top of the line guy. But anyway, so that's how Worn came about. And I like to use that one because there were some things going on in life that probably were weighing heavy in the mind, but then when the mind relaxed in the sleep, it was almost like somebody was trying to, how somebody, when you're a child, your mom rocks you and sings you a lullaby,
right?
Make you hold on. That's almost about what Worn came to me in a dream. It was almost like an angel was singing something to me and trying to comfort me so that I would hold on for one more day.
That's pretty damn cool, man.
Yeah, dude, listen, man, that stuff's scary. That's scary stuff. I mean, I really am humbled by it, brother. I don't take it for granted. And I know that that's a gift. It ain't me, man. I'm just a messenger. I'm grateful, humbled, and honored to be given the job of being a messenger with something to say that may need it. And I'm finding out that there are people that really need it, because 22 million people have been gravitating in a very short period of time. So apparently, they're, and that really, really humbled. Good Lord.
That's pretty damn cool, man, though, to say, how many people can say they have 22 million listens on It's Spotify, right? On 22 million?
Well, it's on SoundCloud, which is better.
Gotcha.
Yeah, SoundCloud's better because I think why SoundCloud is so much more, user friendly, because it's free.
Right.
People don't have to pay and I don't think they should have to pay to test drive music, man. Do you remember the old radio, when the radio, you don't have to pay to listen to that radio. Now you do.
Right.
Like people should be able to make a decision. They like a song, then they go buy it. Listening to music for free never stopped people from buying albums, brother.
Nope.
It actually helps people that buy albums to decide whether, they test drive a vehicle before they buy a car. So why can't you test drive a song? And I think SoundCloud is one of those platforms that allows that.
Exactly.
So maybe that's why there's a great number of people on there, willing to listen to new music. So yeah, I mean, I encourage it. I tell people, I say, don't go. We're on 30-some platforms, Jimmy. We're on Spotify, Apple, iTunes. But every time I go to them, you got to pay. They want you to pay for a premium. And even I don't want to listen to my music on that.
I agree with you, man. It's especially nowadays with, with all the stuff going on. People don't have extra money for to listen to streaming services, So it's tough, I mean, one good platform that I like, because it's a visual as well as music, is YouTube. Now, will you guys be shooting any new videos for this EP?
Yeah, we're shooting Bleed Over Me right now. It'll be done probably. Amanda, when will Bleed Over Me be done? Next week? Huh? We're shooting the last scene next week, brother.
Oh, nice.
So then the editing will take another probably weeks. You'll probably have it in 2 weeks up on YouTube.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we've got a few songs up there right now. We've got a few videos out.
Right. Yeah, I was looking at your page and I saw that. I was just wondering if you were going to be making any new ones for the latest material.
Yeah, we're going to make a new one for every song that we do on the new EP. So every 60 days or so, you should see a new video for each song that's going to come out on the Train of Thought EP.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so starting in a couple weeks, Bleed Over Me should be posted up, and I'll make sure my manager lets everybody know. I mean, he's a good dude. He's pretty on his game. So I'll make sure he puts out something to all of you guys that get you over there to look at whatever you need to talk about it or to see it. Whatever it is you guys need to help help the 308 Ghost Train keep rolling.
One thing I noticed though, you have another thing going on too. Can you talk about the writers round that you're starting?
Yeah, I got I've been like I said, I believe in helping out. When you're blessed, the best thing you can do is give. Mm-hmm. And the more you give, the more you get in return. And so I happen to create a space. I just was near my house, not far, and I wanted a space where I could rehearse, and I wanted a space where all my buddies could hang out while we were rehearsing the band. So I've got a bunch of friends. I mean, I don't know, probably I got about 60, 70 people that like to hang around and love the 308 Ghost Train, right? Like, in our little neighborhood area. So, as you would call it. And so I decided to open up a space, and I built a bar in there, made like this big man cave with a stage. And so I decided on Tuesdays, I own the indie record label that's joint ventured with Universal. I own 308 Records, and I own the publishing. I did a pretty good job at putting the business side of this together because I own just about everything.
Nice.
I own the merchandise. I own it all. So I was fortunate enough that because when you do that, you actually get the lion's share. So I wanted to take some of that good fortune and put it into something I could do for the community. So I started this little man cave, and on Tuesday nights I'm going to open it up to singer-songwriters that want to come over here, and Amanda's going to videotape them, and basically they got to pay a little something. It's like $25, but they get a videotape. They can use it for their marketing purposes. And they can come take the stage, and all my friends can come listen to them, and they can try out the new material. And I can sign one act between now and the end of the year if I want to.
Nice.
It'll be distributed on Universal. And so, I mean, listen now, I may not sign an act. I'm going to tell you right now, but I have the power. So and if I sign it, it'll be released on 308 Records with the power of Universal behind it. But I'm going to tell you, you better. It's you know how that goes. I only get one shot too. If I come with something that ain't right, I'll never get another shot like that again. So I have
Exactly.
to be very selective, brother. You know what I mean? I got to be, and look, I can sign anybody from all across the United States. So it doesn't have to even be from here. I could come across somebody in BFE and say, oh my God, I got to have that. You know what I mean? So I could be when I'm on the road or something. So, but it's nice to have that in your back pocket. But I'm going to give people an opportunity to come here and play, and they can play for me, and I'll listen to them. I mean, actually, I'll listen to their songs, and I would like to think that I mean, I'm not the end all be all, but I'd like to think that I have an ear for this because if I didn't, I don't know whether I would be where I am. But yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, I would think that I might be able to help somebody. So, and even if it's helping people by helping them write songs or make their songs better, or maybe trying to pitch their songs, publishing, because I have a lot of inroads in Nashville. I know a lot of publishers. I've had cuts. I think I've had 3 or 4 cuts this year in Nashville. I've won 2 awards, a Posse Award and a CMA as a writer. So I mean, like I got other things I can do to help songwriters. So not just artistry. There's lots of other things. I've got sync capabilities, connections. I've had songs in Shameless and other TV shows. So, I figured, how can I bring that all together and form a nice music community here? And that's what I did.
That's pretty cool, man. Now, do you have a website that you want to promote?
Well, the website for us is www.308ghosttrain.com. And you can also find us everywhere. I mean, we're on Instagram, 308 Ghost Train Band, Facebook, 308 Ghost Train, Twitter at 308 Ghost Train. I mean, if you Google 308 Ghost Train, I think a bunch of stuff comes up. But that's basically our social media. But I encourage everybody on your show that's listening. If you want to get a great feel for this band, go to SoundCloud.com. Put in 308 Ghost Train. Listen for free. Listen to the music. Embrace it. Find out which one is your favorite song, and let me know. Put me a comment in there. Tell me I heard you talking to Jimmy, and I want to tell you that I love this song. Or just reach out to me, and we answer them all personally. About once a week. We've been getting tons of them. It's getting worse though, man. It's getting like hundreds a day.
Wow, that's cool though.
Yeah, it is, but it's hard to keep up with it, brother.
I'm sure.
You want to try to keep up. You want to try to, I want to try to personalize all that. So I try to answer them myself. But Amanda's been having to help me lately because, gosh, I got so much to do. And so I'll be doing one thing and she'll read them to me and I'll say, okay, and that's the end. And then, so we do it together. But it's been really cool. So, I want to hear from everybody, man.
That's awesome, man. And any final thoughts before we go?
Well, I think what I want to do, is I want to invite people to get to know us. I want to invite you on to grab a seat on the 308 Ghost Train, and I want to transcend the musical barriers, man, that keep people apart and create a oneness with the music. And no matter what song it is, or, each song's like a car on the train. So no matter what song you're riding on, man, that's the car that you decide to take your seat in, man. Remember, it's all attached to one locomotive, man. We're all going to the same place, man. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so that's what I want, man. I just want to bring people together.
That's awesome, man. Well, Train, I want to thank you for coming on the program today, and I wish you guys much success.
Oh, man, thank you so much for having me, brother. I mean, and thank you so much for taking the time to listen to the music and for liking the music, and tell your wife I said hi. And if I can do anything for you guys, you let me know, man. And then when we're coming through South Carolina, whenever we start the tour again, I want to make sure Michael will reach out to you and make sure we get to meet face to face.
Definitely, man. I'd love to do that, and I'd love to check out the show as well.
Oh, you'll be there backstage, brother.
All right. You be safe, brother.
Thank you, my friend.
All right. Talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.